I was a poor girl from a small, forgotten town. Life had dealt me a cruel hand from the very beginning. The wealthy and powerful took away my dignity, chained me, and even tried to bury me alive. But I was not going to die. I rose, picked up a gun, and took the lives of 22 men. This is my story, and if you stay with me until the end, it might just change the way you see courage, justice, and survival. My name is Lily Stone, and this is the true story of my life. This is not a movie, not a fairy tale. It's a story of pain, injustice, struggle, and ultimate survival, a story I lived myself. I tell it honestly, like I am speaking to a close friend, because every moment is real, every scar has a story. I was born in 1963 in a tiny, poor town by a river. My family barely made ends meet, fishing and doing odd jobs to survive. Our home was old and worn, with a leaky roof and cracked walls. My father worked long hours. My mother managed the house and my siblings, and I did whatever we could to help. But life was harsh. The powerful people in town looked down on families like mine. They took our land, humiliated our women, and no one dared to speak up. I was about 10 or 11 when a wealthy landowner took our family's property. My father went to court, but money and influence decided the outcome. We lost. I saw my father cry at night, my mother silently shedding tears. At that moment, I asked myself, why does this happen? What did we do wrong? But I was just a child, and the world was cruel. When I was 11, my father arranged my marriage. But it was not a marriage, it was a punishment. My husband, a man 3 times my age, was cruel and greedy. My mother dressed me in a wedding outfit, but my heart was breaking. I cried, I don't want this. But no one listened. Poor girls in our town had no voice. On the first night, when he came close, I froze in fear. You are my wife, and I will do as I please, he shouted. He beat me, abused me, and broke my spirit in every way imaginable. I cried at night, worked during the day, and lived as a slave. Food was scarce, clothes were torn, and my body bore the marks of abuse. One day, I could no longer endure it and ran away. I returned home, but the townspeople shamed my parents, and I was sent back. I tried again, but the authorities caught me and returned me to that nightmare. He chained me in a room, laughing. You'll never escape now. But inside, my heart whispered, one day, you will be free. At 16, fate took a new turn. A gang of outlaws lived in the forests near my town. They robbed the wealthy and helped the oppressed. One day, they kidnapped me. I trembled in fear. Please, let me go. I am poor. I pleaded. Their leader, a cruel man named Victor, had the same greed in his eyes as my husband. He brought me to the camp, and the nightmare continued. Abuse, violence, and helplessness. I wondered if my life was destined only for suffering. But there was one man in the group, Michael, a young man from a humble background, who saw the pain in my eyes. One night, while Victor was asleep, Michael shot him. You're free now, he whispered. Tears filled my eyes, but hope sparked in my heart. Michael became my protector and companion. Together, we led the gang living in the forests, striking at the wealthy oppressors and helping the poor. People began calling me the Bandit Queen. I learned to handle firearms, plan attacks under the cover of darkness, and aim with deadly precision. Our gang was small, but our resolve was strong. Women in nearby towns would say, Lily, you give us courage. But happiness didn't last long. Some members, jealous of Michael, conspired and murdered him. Everything I had was taken away. They chained me and took me to another town, where I was held prisoner for 3 weeks. Over 20 men tried to break me every day. The law was in their pockets. One night, when they were drunk and asleep, I broke my chains and ran into the forest, wounded and exhausted. My body survived, but my spirit felt dead. Under a tall tree, I swore, I will take revenge on everyone who harmed me. I formed a new gang and became the leader. Loyal people joined me, fighting injustice. We hid in the forests, planned carefully, and waited. My goal was revenge. 2 years of preparation, and then the day came. We surrounded the town where I had suffered. The men responsible were lined up. 22 of them were killed. Rivers of blood flowed, and screams echoed. This was justice, my soul's reckoning. Afterward, I became infamous across the country. Newspapers printed my photos. The oppressed called me a heroine. The authorities called me a criminal. I hid for 2 years, but eventually I surrendered. In front of thousands, I laid down my weapons and went to prison. 11 years passed in confinement. Loneliness, pain, but I never gave up. I learned to read and write, understood my rights, and discovered my inner strength. Upon release in 1994, I transformed from a feared outlaw into a politician. I stood for the oppressed, fought against corruption, and spoke for women's rights. But old enemies never forgave. One day, outside my home, I was shot. I died, but my story lives on. This is my life, from oppression to revenge, from poverty to power. Every person has an inner Lily. If you believe in standing up against injustice, take action. Fight for your rights. One voice can awaken thousands.